When I first heard about the project, obviously, a name like J.J. Abrams is pretty exciting and piques your interest right from the get-go. So I immediately read the script and loved it and was so excited about the role and just getting to do something where I get to be kind of tough and I get to sort of, go to a lot of different places emotionally as well. And then when I talked with Dan Trachtenberg, I kind of knew this would be a perfect project for me because he just seems like the type of person that I would always want to work with. And he has been. He's been so lovely to work with, as well as the other actors and the crew, and so I feel very lucky. When I was first reading the script, I honestly didn't know where it was going from sequence to sequence. There were moments where you're rooting for certain characters and moments where you don't like them and you're afraid of if they're a villain or if they're a hero. You really don't know. And I thought that was really interesting, particularly John Goodman's character. It really kind of keeps you on your toes in terms of where he fits in the whole thing. And I thought that was really unexpected and interesting and exciting. When you first see Michelle, she gets into a car accident, and when she wakes up, she is in this bunker or cellar or something. She doesn't even know where she is, and she is tethered to the wall by a chain and has this sort of horrible makeshift knee brace on and has no idea where she is or how she got there. And so as the movie goes on, it all kind of unfolds and you find out that there's this man there who's keeping her there and saying that it's for her own safety because there has been some sort of attack, a nuclear attack, and they can't leave. And you're kind of wondering if he's telling the truth, if this really happened, or if he's possibly a nefarious sort of man himself, and possibly she might need to escape. I would say, it's incredibly tense, but it's very real in the sense that if you were actually in this situation, there would be moments of levity, there would be nervous laughter here and there. You would have to adapt and learn how to survive in these surroundings. So at a certain point, it almost becomes a bit mundane and normal. But that's sort of a great kind of device because then it goes into a whole other crazy place just when you're getting comfortable. So it's a great setup in that way. I think when she first meets Emmett, the initial reaction is fear, you know, um, that he could be a bad person, that, he could do something to her. But it quickly kind of turns to, oh, maybe this could be my ally, and maybe this is my way out of here, maybe this is somebody who could help me and their friendship kind of grows throughout and she actually sees him as somebody she can trust, whereas with Howard it's a little bit more back and forth. Sometimes she thinks she can trust him and sometimes she's not so sure, but Emmett is definitely much more of a safe bet for her in terms of somebody that she can confide in. Howard gets a little bit jealous of Emmett and Michelle and their relationship and the closeness that they start to form. which is purely a friendship, which I think is really cool as well. The script that they're not really romantically involved, or there's not some sort of love that blossoms between them, but they just kind of, like one another and feel like they can lean on one another, and Howard does not like that one bit. I mean, I think this film, to me, feels like it kind of harkens back to a thriller of maybe kind of the 80s, or something that, there's a little bit of like an alien, or sort of a kind of cerebral thriller in a sense. It feels very thoughtful, and it's not all about kind of a fast pace and jump scares and things like that. There's like a definite slow burn to it, which I really like. Which is kind of funny. It's been surprisingly a very easygoing experience, even though it's such a tense and intense film to do. But we're all just having such a good time, and everybody's so nice that we just kind of. And it's been so great that we're shooting mostly chronological because we can, because it's all, takes place on this one set. So we're really getting to see the story unfold from day to day in real time, which has been such a huge help as an actor to really know where we are and where we just came from and where we're going next. And I've been really appreciative of that. From the second we had the table read, I was just so amazed by John and his ability to just make this character so unexpected and interesting, because he's really bringing all of the warmth and humor that he's brought to other roles, but kind of flipping it on its head and bringing this creepiness, underlying creepiness to it, that makes it so interesting and unlike anything we've seen him do before. So I'm really excited for people to get to see him in this role. I think he's really fantastic, and he's been just lovely to work with. And he gives so much as an actor. I think he gives more, even when he's off camera. He gets into it just so he can give us things to react to. And I think that's so lovely when actors are that committed, and when they are that generous and care that much about the other actors in the scene. He's so sweet. It's such a great cast. So John is maybe one of just the flat out nicest actors or people I've ever worked with. He's such a sweetheart, and so dedicated, and brings such a likability to Emmett. He's so cool. He's just such a laid back, fun guy, and I think he's really set the tone for how we've all been working on this shoot, which is that we've just been having a good time, and it's been very easy and very low stress, and it's just been kind of us all hanging out together, and feeling like you're kind of making a movie with your friends, which is ultimately the way I always hope to feel. Um, so it's been fantastic to have his energy, which is so positive and so enthusiastic, and it really keeps us all elevated, and keeps the morale up, which is one of the most important things. It's been awesome. I've shot one film here before, and I know from that experience that it's a really fun town, and if you go out every night, and there's plenty of opportunity for that. I've been working pretty hard on this film, so I haven't really gone out much, but there's still just like such a fun energy in the air at all times. You know, you look out the window and there's fireworks going off, or there's a parade going by. There's always something happening, and it feels really fun to be a part of that. I think this movie is gonna be scary, but it's also gonna be thought provoking and fun, and um, yeah, it'll kind of, hopefully leave you thinking a lot about it after you've seen it. I think it goes to a lot of surprising places, especially where it ends up, I think is completely different than what people will expect. So I hope when people see it, they kind of go back and go, okay, I need to watch that again.